Welcome to the Pod Bay Door.
Hello out there in the verse. This is the Pod Bay Door. Please join us every Tuesday for informed discussions on new and upcoming movies, games, and tech. And if you love Las Vegas, stay tuned because as Vegas insiders, we can give you a unique perspective on its history, provide insider information, and reveal the unknown secrets of our town, Vegas. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. We're glad you're with us. And hey, if you get the chance, subscribe to us and give us a review on your favorite podcast platform. Also check in with us on our YouTube channel at the Pod Bay Door Podcast.
Enough! You are all of you beneath me. I am a god, you dull creature, and I will not be bullied by
puny god.
Hello to you. This is the Pod Bay Door. You can catch us on thepodbaydoor.com. Adam's with me. How you doing, Adam?
Good. What's going on, everybody?
And Happy New Year to you. Sam is also calling in. Sam, how are you, buddy?
Good. How you guys doing?
Good. Happy New Year to everybody. This will come out on January 2nd, so people have already started recovering from their New Year's revelry. Here in Las Vegas, we have a giant New Year's, so it was fantastic, I'm sure.
Right.
Coming up on this episode, we decided to dedicate a little bit of our time to our insider's view of the best and worst of Las Vegas in 2017, as well as because we are nerds at heart, some full-fledged, I guess. We're going to get the best and worst video games, best and worst movies, and have a little discussion about that. I've got my honorary nerd shirt on. Sam, my mother gave it to me.
Nice.
Silver.
Nice.
Yes.
I got mine on, too, if you notice.
That's right. We got...
it's Dragon Ball Z Star Wars crossover. It's
yes.
Goku and the Death Star shooting each other.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Cool. So, yes. So I'm at least an honorary nerd for an hour. And also, as interesting in Area 52 as I have seen and come up with, lots of numbers and fun facts for Nevada and Las Vegas, so stay tuned. The comments for 2017 were fantastic. Our year anniversary is coming up in February, Valentine's Day, actually. And so we're going to do a big year in review for the Pod Bay Door show on that date. But the comments for the remainder of 2017 were great. Couple today, Mark A. off of WordPress, way out there on the Gold Coast in Australia, said, quote, "As a Vegas nerd, I can never get enough of Vegas insights. Total praise all the way from the Gold Coast, Australia." Thank you so much, Mark.
Nice.
Good to hear from you.
Yeah, very cool.
And John P. off of Podbean commented, quote, "Seriously good show. Thank you again. Funny, John makes me laugh out loud with his industry stories. He makes me laugh out loud every time he talks."
John's hilarious.
Thanks, guys. Rip it up in 2018. Well, absolutely, John P. You rip it up, too. Thank you so much, guys, for those comments. Keep them coming in. I go through as many as I can off camera. I answer every single one, so please send us a hello. We're going to do the Nerd Alert with Adam first, so strap in. We're going to talk about the best games first and the best movies of 2017. And, of course, which apparently Adam and I both found out, it's way easier to find the worst movies and games.
Oh, yeah, definitely. A lot more negative reviews online. I wonder why.
Yeah, so Adam, take it away.
So we'll start with some of the best games this year. We definitely gathered a lot of info from different sources. Plus, we've played a few games, Sam and I.
Right.
Obviously, you have GameFly. You played a few.
I do.
We've been working hard.
I have the lame one-game GameFly.
Hey.
And I keep them for 6 months and then turn them back in.
After they offer you to buy them out, right?
Yes, I've purchased a couple. I've had some over 8 months, and they say, "God, dude, do you just want to buy it?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yeah, I do."
So I guess let's start with the good stuff rather than bad stuff. We've talked a lot about the microtransactions. We'll get into that in a minute. Some of the best stuff that came out this year, obviously the Nintendo Switch kind of took over this year with Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild and Super Mario Odyssey.
Yes.
I believe Sam's played both of those games. Our friend
They're
Jose.
both excellent and amazing.
Yeah, Jose's got those, played the crap out of both of them.
Yes.
Just nostalgia galore, brings you back.
Well,
Right.
Not only that, but like it actually lives up to the nostalgia hype, because for once it's actual hype that actually fulfilled your wishes and dreams. You know what I mean? Because
Like it actually came
the
out the way you thought
gameplay,
it
the
would.
open world, the music, the storyline, it's all tied in. It makes it like excellent grade A title, like top of the top, cream of the crop, and all that.
Now, I have a question for you, Sam, actually,
Yes.
and for Jose as well. Do you find yourself playing the Switch as a mobile version, or do you connect it to the TV whenever you can? What do you prefer?
I'd say I like the handheld more,
You do?
just because you can walk around or you can, like move to different places.
Right.
Playing on a big screen is cool too when you have multiple people over to
Right.
play as a group.
Okay.
But if I'm playing solo, I rather just do handheld.
You're just hanging out, laying in bed or whatever.
It has that feeling of like a very upgraded Game Boy from when I was a kid. You know what I mean?
Because the reason I ask is that earlier, far earlier, months ago, Adam made a comment to me, and it was very controversial as it regards the game industry. He said that he sees the trend for gaming getting away from consoles, and of course, all the versions of that, and going mobile. And
Well, I think this is a genius way for Nintendo to kind of bridge the gap before they go completely mobile.
Yeah.
They're still hitting on that platformy, have it on your TV and your entertainment system, but then you can still bring it with you. It's portable, it's small.
Okay.
Yeah, and like you said, I think it's going more mobile.
Okay. Because when you said that, my first thought was, people playing on their phones, and I just find phone games lame. But the Switch,
I'm
is obviously
50-50
not so.
on the mobile gaming, because like
Yeah.
I go through mobile gaming, I see what's out there, what's the hype, and what people are playing, and just I like the fact that all those games, they all claim they're free to play, but sooner or later you can hit a wall somewhere that says, "Oh, purchase this."
Now you got to
purchase
buy
that.
this part, or now if you want to keep playing part 2 is $5.99, whatever. Yeah, the problem with mobile gaming is they're very
it's like buy this, buy that, or wait 3 hours, and and people are compulsive; they can't wait.
Yeah.
For me, I'm like, no, I'm good. I'll wait. No worries.
Yeah.
I have a whole gaming console to go to, so I'm fine.
Yeah, I was gonna say the cell phone games are very like short term, whereas the the bigger platform games, I guess, are longer, more in depth. You can really spend probably 100 hours in Zelda alone.
Well, I think that ending the year, the controversy with Battlefront and EA, I think that's going to change the whole landscape.
I think so too.
And I don't think it's going to take any time. I think the landscape is going to change almost immediately for 2018. Because when they were accused of ripping kids off, that was the end of it.
Oh, they're being investigated right now too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, multiple agencies are looking into EA and Battlefront.
Yeah.
We'll get into those on the worst list.
We'll get into that a little bit later.
One that I played, Horizon Zero Dawn, very good kind of post-apocalyptic open world game, but really story-driven. Very, it wasn't rushed into production at all. Beautiful animations. Good scenery. The gameplay was solid. Just solid game all around. Sam, did you get a chance to play that one at all?
Not yet. I've been busy working on a few other titles right now.
Right. Well, he's got the other Switch titles. So, also on my list, I just picked up Persona 5. It's a heavy Japanese RPG, very colorful and splashy. Japanese names, so it's a little hard to keep track of what your characters are. But if you like RPGs, this one's really it's kind of a mix between like a high school simulator and like a traditional RPG. So you kind of have a whole character and build in this high school situation that you have to follow on your friends and make sure they're all happy and like you, and go out to eat and work out and do all this kind of stuff. And then the other half of the game is actually going out and fighting monsters and stuff.
I see.
It's a clever way to kind of put these two together.
So it's a button masher.
It's actually a lot of story. Probably half of the game is reading.
No story.
Yeah.
And they're all named after motorcycles.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, good RPG. I've enjoyed playing that. Thanks to Felix for that recommendation.
Well, yeah, it's Chris Felix. I feel left behind because I don't. In fact, I even got a notification from GameFly regarding the PS3. They're not going to sell off their library of PS3. They're just going to retire it.
Really?
Yeah, and it's getting to the point where they're forcing me to buy PS4.
Sure.
I don't want to get into Xbox. That's fine, but yeah, I just so I don't know, Sam. I may
You're forced to upgrade
take your recommendation and go with a Switch.
There you go. If you can.
It's kind of hard to just do the Switch only, because I mean I'd recommend the PS4 too, just because all the exclusive titles.
Well,
Like
that's the one problem I have with the
Last of Us series.
Right.
They were making a second one coming out this year, Last of Us 2
Yeah.
for PS4.
I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah. Cool.
A couple of notable mentions here. Resident Evil 7 supposed to bring back the franchise to its original scariness. Nier Automata.
Yes.
As also an RPG. Heard a lot of mentions of it. I haven't played it myself, but heard good things about it.
Cool.
And Divinity, Original Sin 2, another kind of top-down Baldur's Gate style RPG.
Yes, that's the one I think our friend Eddie's playing.
Yeah, definitely a lot of hours you could spend in that game, I hear. A lot of RPGs on the list, but that's my preference.
Just let our listeners know all the games we're talking about and recommending, they at least ask for at least 20 hours of your time or more.
Well, any game now has got some sort of grinding thing, so...
Well, with all that extra time and money we have, Sam, I'm sure we'll jump right in.
I know, right?
And now I have a question.
We just try to pick at it whenever we can,
Yeah, there
slowly.
you go. There you go. I have a question for both of you. On my list, I had, you mentioned all of them, so good job. Player Unknown's Battleground.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that one, because that's the strangest title I've ever seen.
This is what's known as PUBG.
PUBG.
And it's kind of like a multiplayer shooter game, kind of more kid-friendly, I guess.
Yeah.
A lot of buzz going on with it. There's
It's a
millions
Xbox
of players.
title.
Yeah, online playing and watching this game.
Yeah.
It's just a crazy buzz with it. I don't really necessarily get it, but
when I was culling the lists, and by the way, we got them from Rolling Stone, Metropolis, New York Times, IMDb, and Forbes, all of which had very, very distinct opinions about the best of. Number one was always What Remains of Edith Finch, and second was most often PUBG. Yeah. So
now that could be just based on popularity for PUBG, because it's like in the millions of users at a time. And as far as Edith Finch, that's probably one of the highest rated games of the year. Although I had to look it up when you told me about it. So
that's okay. I'd had to look most of these up to tell you the truth. So now here's the big question. Obviously, a lot of these are RPG or RGB. See, there's the graphic I made. RPG adjacent. Is that the strongest and most popular style of game you think in 2017?
I would say
RPGs.
Yes.
RPGs are making a comeback, but
they are making a comeback.
Mainly, it's been like a one-player game, or like Fortnite's popular. Like anything multiplayer has been pretty popular. Like we know the franchise of like Madden and like Call of Duty is too popular.
Sure.
Right.
Okay. Now do you for representing the older folks, me, who grew up with video games, who then had to graduate away from them for a while. We are not fans in general, in my opinion, of open world, and playing with 12-year-old kids in Japan. At the end of 2017? What do you think? Is it just the way to go? Are single player storylines going to go away?
I think in some AAA titles, they'll stick with that. But a lot more of the kind of open world, aspects, that social media craze that we want to play together with these people from across the world. That's the thing that's exploding. So a lot more games are going that way.
Sure.
you know, I still enjoy those ones where it's story driven, single player. You know, there's no leeway to do whatever you want. It's it's actually a linear game. I enjoy those, but the way it's going, maybe those will fade out. You know,
because everybody wants to be together.
Of course, social.
All right, Adam. It's time for the dark side.
So some negatives. We had talked about the Star Wars Battlefront 2 controversy. Yes. Obviously, anything with a microtransaction these days is frowned upon. But that one, including Destiny 2, was a huge game, but is basically marred by all these negatives. They're facing because of these microtransactions. Well,
now, controversy aside, is it a bad game? Not bad game, but I mean, can it be reflected
it's a game that
negatively?
That I put some time into, and if it didn't collapse in that we needed 17 other players to play at the same time to play an impossible mission that nobody can get through. Yeah. I enjoyed it, but it obviously had some flaws.
Yeah.
It got to the point where, the microtransactions were, infested into everything you do. Mm-hmm. So it kind of forces you into, their pyramid scheme.
Sure.
So yeah, I mean, it was a good concept, but when the financials get involved in the gameplay, it just goes to crap. And that's what happened with that game.
Now, the next one on my list is it's the only one that I think all year that you said it sucked.
Mass Effect
Andromeda.
Yeah, that game was probably my least favorite of the year. Super rushed, cash grab. The animations were terrible.
Yeah.
You could, throw that game away and be happy. Don't play that one.
Okay. All right.
Sam, you play that one? Are you with us, Sam?
No, I am.
Oh, okay.
For that title, I haven't played it yet, but
well, like I said,
Destiny, they do have the microtransaction, but it's not too bad because the overall gameplay is good.
Well, the gameplay's fine, but don't you think like at some point when every item that you're getting is focused toward getting bright engrams, which eventually are on a pay scale, that degrades from the overall gameplay.
Well, I mean, it was solidly on the worst lists. I think probably because of the specter of the microtransactions.
Sure.
But gameplay, like Sam said, was decent.
It was decent.
Yeah.
I put some hours into it.
Yeah. Now the last one, I remember Sam, one of you said it was a good game, Middle Earth. Shadow of War.
Yeah.
Now I couldn't remember if you were saying Shadows of Mordor was good or Shadow of War.
The new one I haven't played yet. The first one I did. I can see that you like it. So we'd have to look farther into what they say is negative about it. Maybe too repetitive. Maybe too much like the first game. Maybe I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I did hear one thing that the graphics weren't as good as the first game.
Yeah.
But by comparison, they're pretty equal.
Yeah. The standard problem that I found with at least these reviewers was that basically they just took they overlaid a new story onto the old map, made some tweaks, and threw it back out there. And they just said that it was unfair to the gamers. There wasn't enough of a difference. But it was still. The gameplay was, if you liked the gameplay in Mordor, you'd like the gameplay in this one. So.
Well, I imagine it's kind of like the Assassin's Creed games. They're pretty much the same thing, different theme, but same skin.
Yeah.
That's all I got there for worst games. Like we said, it was easier to find some of the good ones this year.
Yeah, and these aren't these.
Go for it. Yeah. What list would you put that on,
I think it's pretty
Sam?
cool so far. Like it's been a while since I played a Tom Clancy game. Because to me, after it got repetitive, I kind of dropped off, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this year, I decided to get Ghost Recon for me and a few of the guys, including Adam, so we all can play together. And the detailing from like the weapon to like the suppressor to the scope to even the butt of the gun or the handle of the gun is amazing. And then of course the character detailing and then upgrading your drone or sinking shot. I think it was a pretty cool concept. I like the fact that, I can hop on with Adam and we can go sniping. Finesse or not finesse, it's up to you how you want to play the game. I thought it was pretty funny last night when we were playing, because we were trying to be like sneaky and stealthy, but then we got caught a couple times.
It's actually pretty hard to stay stealthy in that game.
Yeah.
Just hide in the bush, dude. Just squat and hide in the bush.
It's a guy in the bush. Anyway, yeah, honorable mention for Ghost Recon.
Okay.
Put a few hours into it so far.
Well, hopefully when World War III starts, you guys will be at least partially prepared with your virtual worlds that you live in there.
We got to get the VR set.
That's right. That's right. But all right, Adam. Best? You want to start with best or worst movies? No, let's start with best.
Oh man, let's start with best. I actually have more on the worst on this list.
Well, I have to mention again, the number 1 and number 2, based on these reviewers, were always the same. But go ahead.
The first top-rated movie of the
year?
year?
Number 1 was always...
Wonder Woman?
No, definitely not. Dunkirk.
I didn't see it, and I've actually heard a lot of negative press on that.
Yeah.
A lot of...
I feel like Dunkirk would put me to sleep.
A lot of that it wasn't story driven. It was kind of like each character in itself, and it kind of would switch to one event to another. It was event driven, instead of story driven. I don't know. What's number 2?
Well, Dunkirk.
All right, so here's the thing. This. I have a list that is my best list.
Yes.
That is the movies that I've watched that I think are best.
Right.
Jamie's got the list that's the best rated movies.
Jamie has the official list. We have our list, which is our hearts list.
My list is based on probably whatever money changed hands with Rolling Stone, Metropolis, New York Times, and so on.
Right.
Dunkirk, yes, always number 1. I don't think these reviewers were basing it on popularity or Rotten Tomatoes or any of that crap. I think they were basing it solely on the quality of the film itself.
Okay.
Christopher Nolan, of course, behind Dunkirk. World War II story, classic story. And I think much like Hacksaw Ridge and movies of the like, you're going to have a hit because it pulls in multiple generations. It pulls my generation back in because it's about our fathers.
Sure.
And it pulls in the older folks because they were right there.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think there's a larger pool of people watching these, but I also think it's a quality film for sure. Okja, which has been on Netflix for many, many weeks, and I have purposely avoided it because it looks... I didn't like. Everybody's going to scream at me now. I think Jim Henson was a visionary, and it's too bad he's gone. I didn't like his movies. I didn't like Labyrinth. I didn't like. The other one. What was the other one again? No, I didn't like Labyrinth. Dark Crystal. Didn't like either one of those because even as a kid, I found. I have a respect for it now, but as a kid, I found him creepy. And when I saw the Okja character, I was like, "Ew, creepy Jim Henson."
Did you ever watch Fraggle Rock?
Never.
I never watched that one either.
Never.
I'm kind of with you on the Muppet thing, dude.
Well, I'm not creepy like I'm going to have a nightmare, but it didn't interest me.
It's just not a style that he likes.
It's a big manatee looking thing, and I was like,
You're not your cup of tea.
Yeah,
exactly.
I want to watch uplifting things or explosions and nudity. I don't want to watch sad things. It looks sad.
Or documentaries.
No, I love documentaries.
He watched a lot of those, actually.
Yes, in fact, I'll tell you guys about a documentary I watched yesterday about toys. I was amazed. But back to Okja.
Oh, you're talking about that one on the Netflix?
On the Netflix, yes.
The Netflix.
Yes,
yeah.
We can share it on the Facebook. Yes, it was very cool. I watched every episode. Well, there was only 4, but Okja, no one on this panel has seen it. Yes, correct?
No, but our friend Jose has seen it.
Jose has a lot of time in his hands.
He watched some Netflix. The Netflix. He said it was good though.
Yeah.
He's the only one that I've heard that.
I'm really surprised that Blade Runner made this list.
I was too, and it only made one of the reviewers.
Thanks for jumping ahead.
Yeah,
dang.
Dang,
All right,
Sam.
so that's fine. Blade Runner, I actually really enjoyed that movie.
You did.
It was a little long.
Did you watch the first one before?
Not directly before,
you
no.
Didn't, okay.
But I've seen the first one, obviously. And this one, it really brought you back to that 80s vibe with just the music and the scenery and the coloring. And
the heavy synthesizer music really made the movie.
Big time.
Plus
and I just loved every second of that movie.
Now, did they, again, I didn't see this one yet, but one negative that I saw in the reviews, that Harrison Ford is unable to act past the fact that he's turned into a crabby old curmudgeon. And so what they do is they cast him as a crabby old curmudgeon.
I thought in this movie he was not that.
He was not.
And I know what you're talking about because Harrison Ford's kind of turned into that old Han Solo-ish kind of crabby guy.
He's
but
crabby.
in this movie,
Crank.
he really kind of he brought it back, I guess.
He did.
He's a little more focused in this movie, we'll say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And Ryan Gosling. He's very cocky in his films. He bothers me about that. Is he cocky
No, in this
one?
movie, he barely talks at all.
Really?
No, this
which
movie
is-
he wasn't cocky at all.
Yeah,
He got
which
his
is
ass
not a
kicked.
bad
Okay.
thing. Yeah, he got his ass kicked a lot.
Oh, good.
So-
Excellent.
So you'll enjoy that.
Okay.
No, I thought it was a well-made movie. I definitely look forward to seeing that again.
Yeah. And tied for third most of the lists. And I kind of caught Adam on this one. The Jungle. That starring. I don't know. I think it is The Jungle.
You said it was
Daniel
Daniel
Radcliffe. Harry Potter and the Jungle.
He's just living out there.
Well, he's stuck out there. He
Yeah.
he gets lost.
This is one I haven't heard
and
of,
He has
so.
to survive. It's a survival tale. Bear Grylls walks by.
Right.
But that was always third. It seemed always third, and always fourth or second. Strangely enough, the movie Get Out.
Get Out. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of press on Get Out being
Yeah.
a really good movie. And one I haven't gotten to watch yet.
Yeah.
But apparently,
Dude, it's good.
yeah.
It keeps you guessing what's gonna happen next.
Surprisingly,
They're
from
they're talking about how Get Out was the fans were kind of mad that it got jibbed at the awards, like wasn't nominated.
well, the award shows they're famous for not liking fantasy and horror.
Yeah.
And sci-fi.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you ever get a nod there,
Or women or black people.
yeah, exactly. If you're ever a nod, you've made a step.
Yeah.
Like Lord of the Rings. How that one, best movie of the year, best
Right.
picture of the year.
Right.
That was unheard of.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now the one that made the list, which I am not aware that it's been released yet. Only the Brave. Is that been out yet?
I believe it just came out.
Okay. And that's of course with Josh Brolin and the story of
The firefighter one.
firefighters,
Yeah, I
yes.
think that came out already.
Yeah.
And that one, obviously, with the fires going in California, is pretty.
Can't lose.
Jesus,
Especially
yeah.
considering, unfortunately, they all were killed.
Right.
All but one. And then
Spoilers alert.
No, it's
like the Titanic. Right?
spoiler alert already happened. It was in the news. Right. They ran into the big iceberg. And then lastly, a favorite director of you two.
Yes.
Shape
Guillermo
of
del
Water.
Toro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shape
Yeah.
of Water. I watched a first look on that, and he keeps his mind right in the game. Boy, he's really top of his game right now.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I imagine
Oh,
that
yeah.
most of those will be probably nodded for some kind of awards. Most of my list, though, probably not.
Yes. Yeah.
Did you guys know he has a museum in California?
Who
Yeah.
does? Guillermo?
Del Toro?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
For what, his movie props?
All his horror stuff. He has like a museum set up, and folks love visiting it.
Oh, yeah, I hope so. Yeah, he needs to archive those for sure.
That could be cool.
So you have a list that is
It's
slightly different.
Yeah, slightly different.
Okay.
My list contains
Yes.
probably
All the
my,
Transformers
probably my
1 through
favorite
5.
movie
Yeah.
of the year. No, that's on the next list. We'll get to Transformers.
Okay.
Baby Driver.
Yes.
Really enjoyed that movie.
I saw that one.
Did you?
I finally saw something.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you like it?
Outstanding.
I loved every second of that
Outstanding,
movie.
yes.
Great story. The music and the background and just the way it's filmed.
Yes.
Amazing. Stellar performances from everybody in the cast.
Yeah.
Highs and lows, drama and sadness, and just hits you on every level.
Totally. I'm upset, however, that it's going to suffer both in the box office and with the critics because of Kevin Spacey, and that's not fair.
Right.
That's not fair. They need to separate that. People need to start separating things like that. But yeah, I agree with you.
But
Across the board.
yeah, one of my favorite movies of the
Yeah,
year.
fantastic.
Next up, Logan. Absolutely loved it.
Yes.
They took a standalone comic and made it into one of the best movies, and it was R-rated, and it was just a perfect comic movie for the fans. I thought
Definitely, it was definitely a fan service for Logan because all the Easter eggs and just the fact that he was able to cuss and actually you see him like cut people up and they fall apart. Like it was a good storyline and the way it was driven.
It was the
Like,
way
you
that
tell he's
Wolverine
at the
should
end
have
of the
done.
road too.
It's in parts I found it to be, and let me finish. In parts I found it to be slow, but at that point I had to realize that it was being presented in a different way. It wasn't the
typical
in
comic.
your face Avengers, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I had to understand that.
It was kind of like, an old Western meets kind of this crime noir, old school type of movie.
Yeah.
And I just really enjoyed that one too.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. What we got?
Next on my list was Blade Runner.
Okay.
We talked about that one.
Yep.
Wonder Woman made my list of bests. I thought it kind of redefined, DC's landscape. Even though I, loved everything they did with Justice League and Superman and Batman so far, this one really kind of set the tone, I think, for the future of their film franchise.
Right.
And then next, Justice League. I really enjoyed it, even though I think it kind of got butchered with 2 different directors, and it kind of got cut up into a movie that I don't necessarily think Snyder wanted. So I really kind of wish that we had a different cut of it.
Yeah.
But it really had some good moments, including, when Flash is speeding around and, Superman's finally, catching up to him and looking at him, and, Flash is basically peeing his pants. And I don't know. It had some really great moments, so that made my list of best movies.
Well, plus we like the fact that you can tell the characters are still being developed, like how Flash is still this young guy who had multiple jobs, and now he's finally working as a crime scene investigator, and how Cyborg is still living with the
Developing.
fact that his body is gone and he's being constantly updated. He's still trying to find himself within this new world he's in.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned the directors. That seems to be a pervasive problem now regarding directors. In fact, Ridley Scott just came out with a very controversial statement. However, he's earned his place, mentioning that he thinks that the Disney should hire and put on production more. He didn't use the word competent, but he said more experienced directors for the Star Wars for the franchise, and I tend to agree.
Interesting.
I tend to agree. Last Jedi is not on either list. If you
It's on
notice.
my list.
It's a
very divisive.
Oh my God! Right down the middle.
Yeah.
Right down the middle.
Very.
But
Adam, for your list, did you put down Spider-Man: Homecoming?
For good or bad?
Either one.
Because
Either
honestly,
one.
that one made it right down the middle for me, so I didn't put it
Yeah.
on either list.
yeah.
That's pretty fair then.
Yeah.
Down the middle.
There were some
My
things
bad.
I liked about it, and definitely some things I didn't.
We can't put it on the worst list because Sam's in it.
That's right. Sam, you got
Wow, thanks, Jamie.
Well, you know what? I'll open
the guy
up
in the chair, Sam.
the guy in the chair. I'll open up the worst movies. Worst movies. Not this one is absolutely unfair, but it's the way it is. Suburbicon.
Good old Matt Damon.
Oh yeah, good old Matt Damon, George Clooney, of course, and a fantastic cast, and it got swallowed up by the Weinstein effect. It came out the week of Weinstein. It was involving Weinstein, and again, horribly unfair.
And just tanked because of
you
bad press.
shouldn't kill off artists and their work because of something else. That's not fair. You need to give it a chance. Although. I also, again, these reviewers said it was not a great film, but it didn't have a chance.
Right.
Didn't have a chance.
No.
Daddy's Home 2, well, duh.
Yeah. Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
The first one was kind of funny,
Yeah.
but I'm not a big Will Ferrell fan.
No, nor am I. He's too goofy for me.
And the second trailer here just looks like they're pressing too hard. Like they're just trying to cash in on this one more time with these big
I'm still waiting
names.
for the other guys too. Like
The
I don't
other
know why
guys.
would it make
That-
Daddy's Home 2 instead of making other guys.
I am
2
so with
that'd
you
be
on
way
that.
better.
Yeah.
Way better.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what's up with that studio. Maybe they didn't have the rights to other guys for
Yeah,
that.
there you go.
Yeah,
Although
so-
Mel Gibson is an interesting choice. I still enjoy Mel. I think he's great. Next
Oh,
up,
you enjoy his sugar tits?
sure, whatever. It doesn't matter. Valerian.
Valerian.
Again,
that's kind of a sad face for me on that one.
sad face.
Valerian and the City of 1,000 Planets.
Yes.
The only thing that I really enjoyed about that movie was the opening part where they're kind of building this city together in this timeline.
Right.
In this kind of fast-paced, grouping of all these planets and aliens coming together.
Yeah.
But other than that, man, it was just a pretty movie that sucked.
Lots of those coming out.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
have been out.
lots of
Yeah,
those.
yeah. It's
Visually stunning. Lots of heavy CGI, some really cool graphic effects, but the story and the acting just didn't come up to par.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the next one, I think only two people liked, Mr. Cruz and myself. The Mummy.
Oh, man.
I thought that it was a good effort. It was fun. You can't lose with me on two subjects: the Mummy and archaeological stuff, and pirates.
Yeah.
Pirates of the Caribbean. I'll skip ahead because it's not on the list.
Yeah.
The last Pirates of the Caribbean with Javier Bardem.
I really like that one, actually.
I enjoyed it. It was a little. I thought the dragging the house through the square scene was a little hokey, but what the hell? It's a pirate movie.
Sure.
Yeah, come on.
Sure.
Wait, but you're forgetting though. Also with the Mummy, it had Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde too, which is amazing.
Well, that's great.
It's good. It's a good nod.
Yeah, and Russell Crowe.
See, I want to know what was so bad about the movie that it tanked so hard that the universe that they wanted to make is basically
dead. Yeah,
it's dead in the water. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it Tom Cruise? I mean, did he tank this movie on himself?
I don't.
Because I like Tom Cruise. I like everything that he does. Personally,
The Mummy was good action paced movie, dude. Seriously, but. The critics are always just gonna shit where they can.
Well, and there's always the cloud of Scientology. That sits over all of Cruise's movies. So
do you think it had something to do with the Rotten Tomato effect?
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
I mean, a decent movie that gets knocked down that just nobody goes to see because they've heard bad reviews. I think that happens a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't think it was a perfect storm of things, but I think it was at least a damaging storm of effects for sure.
Yeah.
Well, Rotten Tomato does damage quite a bit. That's what happened with Justice League.
Yeah.
That's what happened with Bright also.
Right.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah,
Rotten
Bright's
Tomato will kill things.
Yeah, and next a movie again I enjoyed. I'm not a huge King fan, and his movies have been generally 50-50.
Yeah,
or
notoriously
60-40.
good bad. With
McConaughey and Elba, how can you lose?
Yeah.
Dark Tower. It was on every list.
It was
as worst.
It was an amazing book series, and those two should have been able to carry a series of movies together.
Yes.
Their biggest mistake was
That's
making this 7-book series into a 95-minute movie.
Yeah, well, yeah, virtually impossible.
They very much rushed this movie out.
Yeah.
And condensed so much of the source material that if you didn't know anything about it, you didn't care about it in the movie.
Yeah.
It was all this movie was about was it was like Bad Boys, jumping through the air, firing two guns at once.
That's true.
It was an action movie,
you know what I thought of? It was the Angelina Jolie Wanted.
Yeah,
it was a lot like that.
Yeah, just kind of over the top action.
Yeah, and you're right. It was totally unfair because there are so many people that have not read the books. It's a lot of books.
And you've lost them.
Yeah, you
immediately lost
or read
them.
King at all.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Probably my worst disappointment of the year was The Dark Tower.
Really?
Yeah. I was really looking forward to that one, and total letdown.
And I also think things nowadays, because of the way the Facebook and social networking is, it's overhyped. And then it comes out and it can't live up to that hype. That's not fair. It's just not fair. Now we have, it's the big one, Sam. It's Adam's going to be on for decades. It's going to be on every worst list he has.
For sure.
Transformers, The Last Night. Now I have to say before you say something, all of the reviewers, all the extra things I looked at, every single list, it was
made the list, right?
The list.
The worst.
It was the worst.
Yeah. There's not much to say.
No,
about
I've not seen it. Is that bad? It's not really that bad.
Totally, I haven't seen it either, to be honest, because I just can't see it. I won't go there. Mark Wahlberg, as the super buff, smart scientist guy who's going to save the world. Nah, come on. Yeah. And then he just got kind of hokey plot twists and a lot of unnecessary.
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
What do you think, Sam?
I'm good for a while for Transformers. I'm just gonna pass.
Yeah,
we got knowing that 8 more. Hasbro signed a contract to make more G.I. Joe and Micronaut movies or Micro Machine movies. I'm like, I'm good.
Because we need some more G.I. Joe movies too, right?
There you go. There you go. Now I'm going to skip ahead a couple of films here because the last two are pretty controversial. So the last one is Sam's favorite, I think, of the entire year.
Okay. This one makes my like right at Dark Tower level.
That's
almost.
right. Elizabeth Banks and
Krispy Kreme donuts.
Power Rangers.
Exactly. That was the best part of the movie.
Power
Elizabeth
Rangers,
Banks
Sam.
eating Krispy Kreme.
In the middle of a fight scene. She's just chilling in the Krispy Kreme shop.
Yeah, but that's okay. It's Elizabeth Banks.
Eating a donut.
Yeah.
That's all you need, bro.
That movie was the worst Hollywood production of all time.
I
in my
would.
opinion.
I you know what? I'll pay a ticket to watch Rita
Just to
Donut.
see it.
That's just sad,
Have you
yeah.
seen it?
I have not.
All right, we're gonna get you to watch that on Netflix.
All right,
when it
I
comes
will
out
because
and,
I have seen I have seen a strange number of Power Ranger content.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but I will watch this absolutely.
And they spent all of like 5 minutes in their armor. That was a terrible
Oh,
decision
yeah.
there. Yeah.
Now, did you like Elizabeth Banks in the Mockingjay and those
I did.
films?
Yeah, she was good in that movie.
You did.
I actually
Okay.
liked Elizabeth Banks in Power Rangers. She was
Yeah.
probably the best actor in that movie.
Okay.
The rest of it was just garbage.
Okay.
Absolute garbage.
Garbage. Okay, the
Uh,
last two are very controversial because they go from Adam's best list to at least two of the reviewers, Metropolis and Forbes. The worst list, as I was saying in the pre-show, Wonder Woman either was on the worst list or was voted the most overrated, which I would say it absolutely earns that. Probably not the worst. And I'm not going to get into Miss Gadot again. I don't want to be called all those horrible names as I was. But I do agree with that. I think it was overrated, overhyped. And because of that, the reason Adam liked it or likes it was overshadowed because it was probably a very important building block for all the fans of DC. And it allowed them to show that DC wasn't lame. It wasn't soft.
Right.
They had,
They had a plan.
regardless of the fact she's a woman. They had a powerful situation, and because in my generation, the problem with DC is that Marvel had so many different characters that were so powerful and DC had Batman and
the
Superman.
Trinity.
DC had
and then Wonder Woman.
They had the ultimate powerful person that shouldn't ever be beat, and then the worst unpowerful has a suit and a car. I no one understood that in my generation. But Wonder Woman, overrated. I agree. What do you think? You think overrated?
I think maybe with the current social status
Yes.
in the world, that maybe it was overrated in the fact that this has been the first women's director and the first superhero woman that's super powerful, and it's going to affect a lot of people, and so maybe
Well,
it
there was
was
a
just
lot writing on it too, though.
and there was a lot of writing, so maybe it was overhyped in that way. I mean, I could see what your point is. It
you
could definitely make both lists if
Right. Do you think the quality of the film and the importance to the DC universe was overshadowed by the fact that it was women, empowerment in women?
Nope, not for me.
You don't?
It was a perfect film. It was great, well written. It got a little hokey with the power of love, basically. But for me, like I was fine. Like it had all the stuff that you've seen if you watched the Justice League TV show, or if you watched anything at all DC Comics, like you'd know how she is, and the fact that she went into the new world with the Wonderman and trying to discover how the world works, it really fit her character. You know what I mean? Like for me, the scene is summed up when she discovers ice cream for the first time. It's really who she is. You know what I mean? She's going to this new world, like I said, and when she had ice cream for the first time, she was in shock, which I thought was hilarious.
So you should be very proud,
Right.
of your
Now,
ice cream.
Secondly on the list, or actually last on this particular list, was the Justice League, and again, I think Adam covered why that failed on several points.
Well, not only that, but the whole mustache situation too.
That didn't help. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that ended up, coming together and kind of building it up to being a movie that it really wasn't. It spent a lot of time, in pre and post production, a lot of, changing in directors and feel and mood. And it just kind of became this Frankenstein type movie between the two of them. And it just kind of, it lowered the bar of what we expected. And like I said, I'm just, one day, hopefully we get a Snyder cut of the movie and what it was supposed to be. Yeah. Because it was supposed to be the ending of his trilogy.
Which is the things that we did get were pretty good, pretty funny.
Yeah.
At least for me, some of the comedy scenes felt more natural than the comedy scenes in Thor.
I'll say this, and it'll lead into my last worst movie.
Okay.
It didn't have what I felt was forced comedy.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I was about to touch that base.
Yeah, and that's I think what you were saying about Thor, and what I will say about The Last Jedi.
Right.
A lot of written-in comedy that is slapstick that never really felt right in that universe.
Right.
Didn't feel right in the past movies what they've come to represent.
Mm-hmm.
And in Justice League, they didn't do that type of comedy. They really they worked it in there as like team building and buddy comedy. And not slapstick, which was where I felt that The Last Jedi and Thor and Spider-Man and some of these newer movies are kind of losing it for me.
Yeah.
In that they're just trying too hard.
Are they losing it, or is it their new formula? Remember we were talking about that, Adam?
It definitely could be part of the Disney formula. We've been talking about the certain check marks that Hollywood has to make now, and maybe being on the lighter tone. With some of this comedy now is part of their strategy,
right?
And we've definitely seen that through some of these newer Disney movies and Marvel movies.
Now you mentioned the check mark thing, and you've said that quite often, and I agree with you. And I think your generation, the 30-somethings of today, are who have the discretionary funds and get the movie passes and all of that and still go to the movies.
Right.
I think I'm graduated past that. I'm going to stream everything and just sit at home. But you still will go to you absolutely go to the movies. So do you, Sam?
Sure.
And do you think that your generation, your friends, your group, your community, are you going to, do you think that the check marks are going, will your community let Hollywood know and let everybody know that we don't need to check mark it, we just need to make some good films?
Well, I think that's the problem is they're making movies for a younger generation.
You think so?
That doesn't necessarily care or know about the check marks.
True.
So they're enjoying a whole nother movie that I don't see, like The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
They're wiping out all the past, kill what you can, whatever the line was. But and they're starting over, and they have this formula that is working for this other generation that's younger than I am.
Okay.
And
the Disney formula is to basically shove down comedy into your throat the majority of the time, and I think also just forget the canon. Like, how can you disrespect the canon of any storyline itself? You know what I mean?
Well, they have the right to do that, and that's what their point is.
Oh, yeah, because they paid for it. Sorry.
Yeah, because they paid for it. Yeah, and what they don't care about is the fans. And what they... I don't... maybe they do. Maybe they don't.
So do you think this new generation... Disney is whitewashing... the movies down to the level of what's being watched. I don't. Strangely enough, my generation no longer. The Gen Xers are the boomers are gone. And the Gen Xers are looking at their savings and starting to make plans for retirement. You guys, I thought, had the power, the influence with the dollars, but you don't.
I don't think we do.
It's skipping you.
No, we're being forced to create for the other generation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not for us.
Yeah.
I think our time frame was the early 2000s when we had the first comic book movies, Iron Man, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then it's evolved past that now.
Now, do you think the independent movement, the non-production studio, like we mentioned in the pre-show, Chance the Rapper went independent, no sign, got the Grammy.
Yeah.
Netflix now with Bright, we talked
their
about
own
earlier.
production studios.
Yeah, their own production studio. Do you think that's going to become the force in what's happening? I mean,
You know, with Bright, they're definitely putting a toe in the water. They're
Yeah.
going to see how it feels.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, we're looking up some numbers, and it made the equivalent of like $98 million in viewership
Yes.
on Netflix. So obviously, people watched it. I enjoyed it. You enjoyed it.
Yes, I did.
The critics did not
Yes,
enjoy it.
I loved it. I watched it like 3 times already.
Yeah, well, there's a giant disparity. You know, the whole issue. Rotten Tomatoes, of course, gave it a 23.
Yep.
Viewer percentage was
80s,
89%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Critics they went out of their way to destroy it, and
Oh, they went out of their way to destroy Will Smith, basically.
yes, and a lot of them felt it was, and we talked about this in the pre-show. It was an algorithmic movie, meaning that they took the best of what Will Smith had in all of his movies, Men in Black, and so on and so forth, Lord of the Rings, Training Day, all that stuff. They took the numbers and said, okay, we need to make a movie just like this, and it'll be a success, just like Moneyball.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Or the concept of Moneyball, and I think somehow the critics got a hold of that and said, no, we're not going to allow this, and with Rotten Tomatoes they tried to kill it.
Just rip it a new one.
Strangely enough, though, people like Sam, me,
are
Adam,
eating it up.
they love it.
Yeah.
You know, they love it, and which is why Netflix said, okay, we're going to greenlight number 2.
Right.
You know,
That's why I'm trying to figure out, how do we fix that void between
The divide between
public? Yeah, the divide between
audience and the
public
critics.
And the critics.
Well,
That's-
the divide for me has always been there. I mean, I will take a look. The only reason I ever read a critic was to get a synopsis. I stopped at that point.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, I don't even like Adam. There's such a disparity between Adam and I as far as movies that I can't. If he
can't take mine for granted.
I can't.
Can't take my
And-
opinion. You got to
and-
watch it yourself.
Yeah,
right?
and Adam can't take mine. And I hope you're right, Sam. I hope that our individualism as consumers of film and content.
this is gonna make me sound very old, but
Well, you are.
the
Well,
one
you're 30
the one
something.
critic the one critic I used to listen to was Siskel and Ebert.
Oh, absolutely.
Mhm.
Those guys knew exactly what they're doing. They were so finesse in
Yeah.
the way they would say their words about the movie. Like it really piqued your interest.
Well, both.
And they didn't seem biased either.
No, and both
Yes.
Siskel and Ebert were brilliant journalists. You know, of course, Siskel, Valley of the Dolls. I mean, he wrote a classic book for that, and Ebert was respected across the board. No, I agree with you. I would take a cue from them. Richard Roper, not so much. He took over for their show. Not so much.
No.
Yeah,
like I
he's
said, just Siskel and Ebert.
Yeah.
That's my classic as a kid because
yeah.
I grew up with those guys. I remember watching them on Sundays, and I'd be like, "Oh, okay." The following week, I will go watch this movie, or
You're
I'll
like,
go
"Oh,
watch
that
that
does
movie,"
sound good.
You know?
Yeah.
You'd actually take some of their advice.
Well, Sam, I think you're the flag bearer. We should take the fight to Hollywood and say no more.
I don't know. Remember,
Take it to.
I am the bad guy for the reviews.
That's right.
apparently. I'm the mean one.
You are. We are angry as hell. We're not going to take it anymore. Thanks. Well, thanks, guys. That's the best and the worst as far as we see it and have read it. But now we're going to go to everybody's favorite, I guess, the best of Vegas. Now, the list that I did was a little different because every Vegas podcaster and their brother is going to talk
something
about
different.
the best and the worst and so on and so forth. So I'm hopefully going to talk about a few different things because we live here. Tip my hat to John, the best of heavy metal in Las Vegas across the board based on what I read and what John said. Psycho Vegas was a fantastic concert experience.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Heavy metal?
Heavy metal. Banging heads.
Yeah.
He took his kid.
Yeah.
Mosh pits. John weighs all of a $110, and I
Yeah.
can't see him moshing, but he did. He did. Next, we talk about pools a lot in Las Vegas and the good and the bad, and there's some pretty bad. Don't ever sit on a pool couch. It's awful. And Julia was right. If it weren't for chlorine, we would never swim again. But the number one pool, ostensibly, arguably, and I agree with this because I've been there a couple times, is Night Swim at the Wynn.
Okay.
Yes. If you want to see hot girls both day and night and pyrotechnics
Okay.
and
So
get
it's a show too.
yeah,
eh?
it's a show. Everything's the show in Las Vegas. But Night Swim over at the Wynn, I totally agree. That was the number one. Now, a couple of bars. Now, I didn't know if you guys had been there. I've been to both of these. Not being a drinker, I went in and out pretty quickly. But
Sure.
Rebar.
Rebar. Heard of it? Never been there.
Okay. A good place to just go have a fun drink with buddies downtown. It's been there a long time, actually, longer than I thought.
So they serve good water?
Yeah, they serve good water. The mean 7-Up. But Rebar down there, if you want, just a good old place to have a drink. If you want to have a fancy drink, if you want to get dressed
Get a little
up,
umbrella in there.
that's right.
Yeah.
Get your best girl and
Little bow tie.
the Dorsey. There was the day of the martini bar is the pendulum has swung away from that.
Oh yeah.
But the Dorsey is the closest thing. Where's
that one at?
Dorsey is at. Oh no, you got me. There we go. We'll have to. Hey Sam, do me a favor.
Yeah,
Look up
look
what
it up. I got it.
Now here's one that no one's list is going to have this on there, but I've recently been confronted with it. We have a huge issue with parking here, so
Yes, we do.
I put the 2 best places for parking, and the only reason they're the best is because they're free. So screw you, Caesars and MGM.
Which will be rare here in the future.
SLS, very convenient, all free. And it's a hop, skip, and a jump right there in the
I'm
casino.
surprised because that's one of the newer casinos.
Yes, and unfortunately, it's SLS. It's sad, but a great parking.
But right there in the middle there,
Yeah,
so you can.
I don't think parking's going to save them, but it should. And secondly, South Point.
South Point.
Another not a great place. Yeah, not a great place.
Well,
but
not with the the rodeo that comes
yeah,
in. It's
yeah.
pretty packed down there, but you can park for free.
But crazy easy to park and get in and have fun. Where is it? Where's the Dorsey?
The Venetian.
Oh, good Lord.
See?
See, there you go.
Your favorite place.
I
Your
cannot
favorite
recommend the
place.
Venetian, but I do recommend the Dorsey. Now people ask me all the time, what's the best comedy club to go to?
Yeah.
And so I made some inquiries of my friends that have gone, and across the board, absolute, the Dirty.
30-30,
Yep.
South Point.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's pretty hopping.
Yeah, it is. It is. And go ahead.
I was just gonna say they always have some local talent.
Yes.
Big comedy
Yes.
names too. They had Ralphie May for quite some
That's
time.
right.
So.
And for those of you that are Rogan heads, I guess, he's there. Been there a couple times, and then still on the best of Vegas, Britney Spears.
Okay.
She was on the list.
Really?
And so I put her on there. Like, what the hell?
Her
she's-
residency. Right?
Her residency is over. In fact, it's over tomorrow. That's
Okay.
her last show. Yeah.
I'm surprised that she would made the best list.
She made the
Not
best
that
list.
She's not a great performer, but
You know what? It
there's
was
just so many shows here that
regardless of if you like Britney and all the sort of whiskey tango kind of stuff she does, she came in, did the job, killed it, and went home. And,
Yeah.
and that's exactly what we want here. We don't want you to start a residency here and get special.
right.
And
Think you own the place.
And I'm afraid of Gaga. She's coming. 2
Uh-huh,
years. She got a
for
2-year
sure.
gig.
Yep. It's gonna be an
2-year
interesting
gig.
one.
Yeah, we'll see.
She'll be making a lot of money for sure.
Oh,
Oh
God, yeah.
Lord, yeah. Because she needs it.
She'll have all kinds of meat suits.
Yeah, me too. Now, this is my favorite. It's the best of all the entertainers, of all the bumblebees and the showgirls and the big birds. I absolutely give a shout out to Drunken Gene Simmons.
Yep.
And again, it is not the actual Gene Simmons, although
No.
he fell prey to the Weinstein effect as well.
Okay.
Drunken Gene
But the
Simmons.
guy on the corner of
guy
Las
in the
Vegas
corner
Boulevard.
Of Las Vegas Boulevard,
Yeah.
right in front of the Hard Rock, with his rolling suitcase.
You have made the Pod Bay Doors
You have
list.
made the list.
You are the man.
Yep. And the last one is a guy that I saw only recently. I was again at the Hard Rock. If you want to see what Las Vegas really is, stand
Head
in front
over
of
to
the Hard Rock for
huh?
30 minutes. That's all
Well,
you need.
across from the Hard Rock, you got a strip club and you
Strip
got
club?
Hofbräu House.
That's right.
So there's like
There
the
you
right
go.
intersection of Vegas right there.
And in the street, being arrested was a completely naked guy handing out flyers for his party that he was going to have that evening at the hotel.
Nice.
Yes. So he decided
Did
that
the flyer say drugs included?
I don't know,
Yeah.
but he and his wiener were out there handing out flyers for a party.
Yeah, he's about to have some good times.
That's right.
In jail.
Not that this hasn't happened at UNLV. I'm sure someone is naked handed out parties.
We're going streaking.
Exactly.
Through the quad.
All right. Well, that was the end of my best list. Did you have any inclusions?
As far as Vegas, no, I hadn't
No?
really looked at
Okay.
into it, but I love everything in Vegas.
How about you, Sam?
For the best of Vegas?
The best of Vegas.
What'd
Over
you-
the last year, what happened where you were like, you know what? I am proud to be a Las Vegan.
Heard
heard somebody say Veganite the other day. I'm like, no.
Veganite.
No.
Man.
No.
Veganite?
You're from
That's
Connecticut.
horrible.
Get out of here.
For me, not.
How
'Cause I
about-
don't. I don't really go out much.
How about the first medical dispensary visit?
Oh yes, and again, Chris over there at the Faces and Aces podcast. I loved his story about his first experience. I am still not in favor of it. I think far too expensive. Obviously,
It's very expensive.
I don't think
As is golf.
As is golf. That's right. Golf and weed, out of control. But no, I still think it's I think it's less of a negative influence than I was expecting. But I think that anybody that was I hate to use this term, I'll say partaker. I'm not trying to sound more than I am, but user sounds bad. Okay. But anybody that's a user of marijuana, they got all excited and said, "I'm going to go over to the apothecarium," and they were like, $50 for a fucking gummy bear. Right. No, and then they went with their own people. But I don't know, positive or negative. What do you think? Marijuana, Las Vegas.
As far as this year, I think it's positive, man. There's a lot of good things coming from it, medical wise and financial wise.
Okay.
Money's gonna be flowing hopefully into Vegas and the schools.
And the educational system.
Educational system is just terrible. So it's still early.
Yeah.
A lot of regulations and a lot of price drops hopefully in the future. But we'll see.
Okay. Never going to be on the strip. Ever.
I'll take that bet.
Okay. All right. $1 right here. You heard it here, folks.
Hey, there's a professional sports team in Vegas now.
That's
Anything
right.
can happen.
That's right. Oh Lord, Raiders.
I guess we could put that on the list.
Raiders.
Yeah.
What?
No. The hockey team, man.
Oh,
they're
oh,
actually.
We should put on Golden
Oh,
Knights.
absolutely. Oh, Golden Knights.
On the best
They're
list.
actually really good, even though I haven't watched the game yet. I'm not a hockey fan, but they're killing it.
They've been kicking ass.
Yeah, Pod Bay Door, big fans of the Vegas Knights, Golden Knights. Sorry, should have been silver.
We'll be even bigger
Should've been
fans when they
silver.
send us free tickets.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. No, but absolutely proud of those guys. They're killing it over there.
Yeah.
All right, now we have the worst.
Here we go.
Without question, I don't care what list you're typing. I don't care who's typing it. Paid parking. I hate you.
Yeah.
I hate you. Why? And I'm going to preface this by saying the worst list has a lot to do with the fact that Las Vegas is not doing as well as the marketing might say. The gaming revenues are stable but not growing.
Right.
And the job market is still extremely difficult. The housing market is flipping over again because all the folks from LA are coming and paying cash again. But things are being done like paid parking because they need new revenue sources because things are failing.
Yeah, 1 million cars a day.
Yeah.
They got to charge.
That's right
for that.
But they need to, not making some sort of local situation that was offensive, and there's no one that doesn't agree with me. Secondly, the red light, green light cocktails.
Yeah, anywhere on the strip now.
Anywhere
if
on the
you're not
strip.
paying
That's
money,
right.
you're not getting free drinks.
And what they don't tell you, and I have this on good authority, a good friend of mine that's one of the slot techs over there it's actually Sunset Station, strangely enough, but
Nice.
he's worked everywhere. The red light, green light thing is a tiered thing. It's kind of like net neutrality.
Okay.
In the fact that you have to first qualify for the lights to even turn on at all.
Oh, nice.
And then you have to continue to qualify, and the red lights are going to be based on time. Like if you're a copper, level player, whatever the hell it is, they'll come on maybe every 20 minutes. But
you're not playing enough.
Yeah, if you're platinum, they'll come on every 10 minutes.
Right.
Yeah. So that's offensive, but again, it's very telling for where the casinos need the revenue.
That's true.
Yeah. And next to Gene Simmons, I have to say a part of the worst list, the I must have spelled that wrong. Dirty Pikachu is far too dirty now. The dude needs to turn it into a dry cleaner.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Is he just?
He's just
continuing with the same dirtiness.
He's matted and dirty, and again, Hard Rock right in the front. You can't miss him. And the dude that does Zach Galifianakis from Hangover with the baby. The baby's filthy. The baby is horrible. It's just horrible. It almost looks like a different ethnicity. It's
Right.
so dirty at this point. So strange.
man.
But Zach, the guy that does Zach, everybody take a bath. That's all I'm saying.
I think it's funny you got Drunken Gene Simmons on one list and then you got Dirty Pikachu on the other.
You know, Drunken Gene Simmons, I think he's honorary on the best list because I just, he's
just got that classic moment.
That's right. When you see Drunken Gene Simmons with the rolling suitcase going back to where the parking lot at the MGM with his head hung low, everybody has had that day, but he has that day every day. Every day. Every day.
He lives that day.
That's right. Next on the list for worst, and I don't wish them failure, but I'm very tired of celebrity chefs. I don't care anymore.
We have quite a few of those in Vegas.
I don't care anymore. That's tantamount to just being a cook to me because your attitude doesn't make you a chef. I agree that chefs can be artists. I think anybody that sells out and it becomes a celebrity chef or sells his entire brand and name, I'm not going to say any names, Lagasse. Hey, do it for yourself. That's great. Make money, but I hope Las Vegas gets away from that. If there's anything to the hipster movement,
go ahead. Before you shit on Lagasse,
yes,
do note that he does give back to his community, and that when the hurricane hit down in New Orleans,
yes,
he helped everybody get back on their feet.
Great.
I just want to let you know that before you shit on him.
Oh no, and I'm not. Like I said, if I had a chance to sell, my name and everything else, I'd sell it in a heartbeat. Everybody would be a sellout if you get money. But
at least he's giving it back.
If there's anything to the hipster and the foodie movement here in Las Vegas, I hope that it pushes out the celebrity status of food and brings back good food.
I agree.
Whether it's a hamburger
or you don't want to take pictures of your food and show everybody.
Well, take pictures.
I don't want to pay $25 for a hamburger.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
That's why you have to go to the local spot, guys. You have to know your best local spots to go to.
That's right.
Yeah, but
it's half the price. It's the places that people don't know.
Yes.
And that's why I like
Secret
about
Pizza.
Las Vegas I can be a foodie, but not have to be on a strip. I can actually go to local places and pay a quarter that price for the same quality food.
You know what? It all comes down to dollars, and I totally agree with you, Sam. Absolutely agree with you. And last on the worst list, anyone born after 1985.
Sweet, I just made that.
Wow. That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people. You need to put on about 10 more years of seasoning and then come to Vegas so you know what you're doing.
And don't look for participation trophy too.
That's right. That's right.
Please stop looking for those. Don't need those.
I so hope that the casinos don't kowtow to all that's happening. I don't want to see millennial lounges, and I don't want to see all this stuff. But yes, work on yourself, and then wait about 5 years, and then come to Vegas. Then,
I'm just picturing in my mind a millennial bar.
All right, right.
Everybody's on their phone.
A lot of tight pants and beards. And
yeah, exactly. Well, that was the best and the worst of Vegas. Area 52. Found a couple of cool ones. We're going to end the year talking about horses. Nevada, and I knew this actually, because I actually donate to the Burro and Wild Horse Rescue.
Do you?
Nevada is home to nearly half of America's wild horses and burros, over 250,000, 220,000 of which were adopted by private citizens.
Really?
Yes, you can adopt them both just in name. You can donate money and make sure they're cared for, or you can actually purchase one and adopt them. They do, check this out, just look up Wild Horses and Burros in Nevada, and they have a NevadaOrganization.org, and they can take you through all the process. It is not easy. You have to qualify, but it's a great program, and if you ever go out to Red Rock Canyon in the Red Rock 17-mile loop, which is a very cool place to go, you actually often will run into bighorn sheep, mule deer, but very often you'll see the little baby burros.
Yeah,
and running around there having fun.
What is it? Oakman? That's the
Oakman,
the old town with the burros. They just kind of walk up to you, and you can feed them and hang out with them.
Absolutely. So again, it's one of the things that Las Vegas and Nevada are known for that nobody knows. Now, Nevada, California share a border, obviously, and through the state line swimming pool at the Cal Neva Lodge. You ever been there? I have been there.
No, I haven't.
You can swim. You can swim and be in California and Nevada at the same time.
Right on the state
Right
line.
on the line. It's still there. It's the Cal Neva Lodge, and it's very famous for how old it is, for one. But yeah, it still has a swimming pool with a big line in it.
Is that, because I know the town Cal Navari, right down by the Arizona, California, Nevada border?
Mhm.
That's what it's named after?
Yeah.
Is that coming somewhere similar in that
It's
area?
similar, yeah,
I assume?
exactly. But I have not swam and been in both states.
In
but
both
you
states?
can
yeah.
do that.
Kind of like the Four Corners?
I have been at the Four Corners.
Yeah?
I've done that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's very fun. Nevada. Now, this is a current. We currently now hold the record for the number of average days without rainfall.
Oh, definitely.
107 days, I believe, today. Now, today we
In the
record
year.
on Saturday, but 107 without rain. Nevada is without question the driest state in the nation. We have less than 7 inches of rain annually, but right now we're 107 days without rain,
Wow.
which is
But
absolutely.
however,
Yes.
side note, when it does rain, it floods super quick because
Yeah.
the
Yeah, we
Yes.
don't have the drainage
the
system
drains
for a
are
lot
never
of water.
cleaned out. The
Yes.
gutters aren't cleaned out, and apparently people don't know how to drive in the rain.
No, it's very bad in the rain. Even if it's like,
Yeah.
2 drops of rain, people go crazy.
Oh my God, people
Yeah.
cannot
Yeah.
drive whatsoever. They just freak out all of a sudden.
And then what's worse is we get snow like once every blue moon.
Yeah.
People are just
They
like,
freak out.
what is that?
My dog goes out of his mind. And regarding that, Sam, we're not unique in having idiots that try to take their car across the rain, but we do have a very cool place called the Charleston Underpass,
Oh God.
where
It's
many
just a no float zone.
yeah, it's a giant fish tank for idiots. It's just people. It rains exactly. It rains exactly like Sam said. It'll rain suddenly 100 inches.
Yeah.
And then people will look at this thing, and it's literally
Underwater.
feet
Yeah.
up. They're like, I can make it.
Yeah.
And they're in a Yugo or something. Yeah.
I used to live with my buddy George and kind of out toward the mountain, and he had these 2 dips coming up to his house on the kind of the main street.
What were their names?
that would that would flood whenever these rains would happen,
Right.
and I would just watch out the window of these people trying to come, through these flood
Yes.
zones, and it would try it in any kind of car,
Yeah.
and it was just hilarious because some people would make it and some people wouldn't.
I know. This question has come to me often, so yes, I verified it, and although it's not as big a story as they said it was, yes, a man actually did have a heart attack at the Heart Attack Grill.
Sure.
And they used to now before the all the movements came in. If you weighed more than 350 pounds, you ate for free.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, and
I
you
don't
could
believe
eat
that's the case
anything
anymore.
you want, right? That's
Anything you want.
yeah.
Which everything wrong about that, but what the hell?
Man, I
yeah.
mean, publicity itself was,
Yeah, exactly.
was huge.
But yeah, keeled over with a heart attack at the Heart
And-
Attack
and
Grill
I
while
assume-
having the multi four tier burger. I think he did.
And,
Yeah.
and you have to obviously sign something, right?
I think so.
There's got to be a
Yeah.
liability for
Well,
him.
now they do. Yeah,
Right,
now
right,
this guy fell
especially
over
now,
the chair.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and lastly, I picked up some interesting celebrity weddings. We a lot of people don't know that weddings, celebrities come here a lot just for quiet weddings, and it's actually possible to have that. Little White Chapel.
And Britney Spears, I
Yeah.
think, got married here with
Exactly, that's she's on
Kevin
the list.
Federline.
Yep. Whatever happened to him?
I think he had like a 1 minute rap
He
career
had
and then
Vin-
disappeared.
Vanilla Federline, and that was it. Celebrity weddings in Vegas. Sinead O'Connor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who'd you get married to?
I
Just
didn't
some
write.
random?
No, I didn't write
Okay,
their
just-
husbands down.
okay.
Yeah, it's only celebrities. And then she screwed over Prince, and nobody cared about her
Yeah.
anymore. Christina Milian, the singer.
Yeah.
I forget what show she was on to begin with. Was it High School Musical?
Could be.
Okay.
I think it's something Disney
Okay.
for sure.
Mike Tyson.
Okay, that
Big
makes
Mike,
sense.
yeah.
I mean, he still lives here, right?
He does very much. Pamela Anderson and he got Tommy Lee.
Okay.
Got married
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
Well, that obviously didn't last
And
long.
no, and then of course the very famous sex tape. They
Sure.
were on Lake Mead, and
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay.
that was like
me.
oh yes,
Okay.
oh yes.
That's funny.
I think it was Echo Bay. I think. Kevin Dillon from Entourage fame
Yeah,
got
yeah.
married here. Actually, during Entourage, I believe.
Okay.
Britney Spears, as you mentioned.
Britney Spears, yeah.
And lastly, one I never knew, and I think it's the coolest thing, because I like her, and I liked her Scientology show on A&E. Leah Remini got married here.
Scientology show.
Leah Remini, you know, from with Kevin James and I can't remember the name of the show.
Kevin
right
Can
now.
Wait, or no,
The
from
first one.
Kings and Queens.
Kings and Queens. Kevin Can Wait.
Okay, I
Sam's
got you
absolutely
now.
right.
Yep.
She started when she was very young. She was involved in Scientology for many, many years, and then she realized that they're quite crazy and cultish.
Yeah.
And she got out. Well,
she's been calling them out now. On her TV
she's
show.
been
Nice.
she's just finished second season on A&E, the story of Scientology, and it's
Breaking everything down. Huh?
Oh my gosh, frightening, frightening.
Kind of want to watch that.
Yeah, A&E. Yeah, you can't Sling. It's on Sling.
Okay,
so
perfect. Yeah.
but she got married here, and while she was when she got married here, she was absolutely full on in Scientology. Yeah. But that's it, Sam. What do you think?
I think that's a good list.
I do too.
Woo!
I do too.
2017 is over.
2017. But like I said, our annual year in review comes up in February, so we will have that ready for you. And so we hope you guys have a fantastic 2018.
Absolutely.
You too, Adam. Have a great year.
Yeah.
Sam, have a wonderful year. We're going to get you back
You
in the
too.
studio soon, I hope. Yes?
Yes.
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 Outstanding. We're going to have some great guests coming up, and keep watch for it on YouTube. Check out our blog at thepodbaydoor.wordpress.com. We are at thepodbaydoor.com. Have a great year, and we will see you next Tuesday.
Happy New Year, guys.
Sweet. Happy New Year's. That was really good.
Thanks to everyone listening and watching. You can catch the Podbay Door on the Podbean app or any of your favorite podcast apps, including iTunes, Google Play, TuneIn, and Stitcher Radio. You can watch the show on our YouTube channel at the Podbay Door Podcast. Please download, like, and subscribe. Our social connectivity screen is coming up. Check in with us on Facebook, Twitter, and WordPress. The Podbay Door is closed and talent is out. Hey everybody, thank you very much for tuning into the show. We would love to hear your show suggestions and comments. If you are watching on our YouTube channel, please click to subscribe. You can also connect with us on Facebook using @PBD Podcast, on Twitter using @TPBD Podcast, and on WordPress at thepodbaydoor.wordpress.com.